A lesson learned. Anything.
My commercial lady that has been waiting to hear if she's going to get this space and she's just get conditioned. She's now turning to looking at. And because she has other companies, she's talking to them. So she's probably the most serious person. The other week that I told you about this week has been fun because she's going to sell her house. And they're just kind of figuring out how much it is, but I think when they bought it, it's like around 750, and it seems like it's gonna be around the same price, right?
So a lot of people don't talk about this, but when someone buys or sells real estate, it's to solve a problem. And this is very apparent with your person that's like, I need somewhere to cut hair. Like that is a problem, and you're like, well, let's go get you a commercial space. That's the obvious solution. But now it's like, let's put it in the basement of a residential house. That's a not so obvious solution, but smart. But even like normal people, when they're selling a house or buying a house, it is because there is some problem and real estate solves it.
Mhm.
So you can figure out the problem, that's their motivation, and you can solve it. I
Yeah,
love it. Love it. Anything else? Something good, something learned, something awesome.
Dude in my parents' ward is trying to finish flipping a house in Payson. So I have some experience in home renovation as well. So I'm meeting with him in a few hours, see if I can help him finish it. He just lost a job too.
Hmm,
So help him finish it and sell.
nice. Ooh,
That's a good win-win.
yeah. Yeah, and if you could make money off of it, even better. No newbies here. Rise. Okay, tomorrow is our last Rise class of like a month. We're not doing it in July, so we're doing about open houses tomorrow, and it's who's doing that one? Tana, I think. Tana Bagley, who is amazing. So come tomorrow, 9:30, all about open houses, and then we're taking a break for July. Now, you'll notice there's not a lot going on in the brokerage in July. What that means is we don't have a lot of agents consistently in town. It's not that people don't work, it's that people are typically gone. There's lots of holidays, lots of vacations. Still work. But we don't do a lot because it's like, it's hard to fill a class. It's hard to like, with me, it was hard for me to get instructors. So I'm not doing it in July. But people still work and so should you. Our team meeting survey, if you haven't, take the survey so you can give us some feedback in what you want to hear in the KW team meetings. Today at 1, we're talking money. Novalee and I are talking about agent financials. And it should be a CE class, hopefully. I'm CE certified, but I don't know how to do it. So I'm like emailing Kimber, like, hey, will you just make sure this is certified? And she's like, yeah, I did it. And that's all I heard. So let's hope. Let's hope you actually get CE. Otherwise, I'm gonna lie to you and say you can get CE to this. But this should be good. So with Novalee and I, we were talking about the class. There is like 4 or 5 hours of good content. Basically, we're gonna get up there and say, what do you want to learn? We're already prepping a whole bunch about taxes, for sure. Probably about tracking expenses, financial success, all of that stuff. So building a profitable business. So if you're interested in like, how should I set up my financials? What should I be doing tax wise and everything like that? We're going to talk a whole bunch about that. List to last, because you're probably not going to see very much of us. July 16th, we are doing list to last. Now, this is Gary Keller and Jason Abrams. So if you guys listen to the MREA podcast, that is Jason that does that. And then Gary is Gary Keller. Keller of Keller Williams, like that's how cool he is. This company's basically named after him. Those two are doing, mastering the art of agreement, specifically with listings. So that's gonna be July 16th at noon. So scan to register, because we are going to get food. And we want to make sure we get enough food. So definitely come to this if you are in town. Questions about that? Oh, I didn't update this. We are not going to do team meeting on July 3rd. But then, or July 4th. We have some special things coming up. So on July 17th, is that the Thursday?
Yes.
We are going to have a field trip. Carl Spencer is currently flipping a house in Midway. And he wants to go talk about how he has done it. It had like mold or meth or something, I don't know, something wrong with it. So he is gonna talk about the whole process of flipping that home. So we'll probably meet here, carpool up, or however you guys want to do it, just meet there. I'll be sending out more emails, we'll coordinate that a little bit, but that's gonna be something that you won't want to miss. What even else goes on in July? Oh.
Like, can we do that?
Okay, well, you guys were gonna miss out. Okay. Oh, I forgot to unhide your slide. Silverback, stand up, introduce yourself.
What's time going to take, like 50 minutes, 55 minutes? Well, 52?
Yeah.
Awesome. So Karen, you guys ever had one other house? Okay. Yeah. 2 to 10 days.
Extra warranty and I think. No, 2 years.
You know, not many months yet, but my parents do in your construction. So it is, I would say between 90% of every transaction, it's all the warranty included. So on the real estate purchase contract, it's line item number 10. So when you're working with a buyer, it's just the most common thing. It's never a point of discussion. It's not ever a point of contention. Sellers like, we don't want to. You know, the listing agent saying, we don't want to. It's just given. And so on line item 10, see, it's the buyers and sellers. Here's the dollar that we want the seller to pay for. And the last one is we buyer to choose which home warranty is going to go. So that's where it's located. So when you're filling that out, it's really simple. But don't neglect it, don't leave it off. It really is in the best interest of both parties, buyers and sellers. Because that'll just create a big separation between the two. There's an issue. The buyers don't want the sellers. Hey, what about this? You guys said X, Y, and Z, and so create that. It diminishes the likelihood of suing the seller because there's seller disclosures, but to protect them. So it's a 1-year policy that starts close date. Covers the plumbing and electrical. Appliances, dishwashers, refrigerator.
Is that if I those items of the and they have to give you an
So we don't care. It's the seller's appliances or it's the buyer's. So from day one, when that policy closes, we just want to know, hey, what do we cover? It says they cover, so we can get it covered. Sure. We know. Furnace and air conditioning. So that's really what. What's we have 3 plans, we have over 20 all of our items, which you believe us some info. We don't have over like share, what you need to know is buyers get warranties, and it's really when they have coverage. The thing that's unique, that shouldn't be unique. Is we do what's called a loan phone call. So we're going to talk to, and I was in like every meeting I go to, real estate agents that have ever had your client closing say, hey, did we get a home warranty like weeks or months later? If something's happening in the house, and then calling their real estate agent asking, did we get a home warranty? Really what that should be, you know, as far as a red flag is, well, introduce themselves or call them, give them information. And so we do a phone call first couple of weeks after they close, so they know who we are. It's silly as that sounds, like it's really, they get the phone. And certain questions they explain how it works, and so. We have coupons as well, and every type of office, and so where we close, we'll have a trifold brochure that explains the warranty. Make sure you grab a coupon, it's a $75 service fee. What that is, who's saying they want to open up money? Hey, we're just talking about not closing. Service call is what dispatches the contractor to come up with the issue and but it covers the whole thing. That's all it is. And so those coupons, yeah, it was like this. We want their first service call because we want them to experience with us because the core of what our business is monitoring it. That's what we do. So they add this business card.
So can you release in the middle of theirs?
Yes, like a consumer policy. Yeah, we do those as well. We want homeowners, we want coverage. They're a little more expensive because they're a little more risky. And so it's usually just another. Yeah. Yeah, we would love to.
And Jason, those are up to 3 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, construction, they want the 2 to 4.
yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, with your Edge Home one, as soon as your builder warranty ends, we could give you, this is like one of our coolest policies, because newer homes don't have as much risk. And so we could give you a 3-year policy for $525, which is like $180 a year. And so all of those appliances, the plumbing, electrical, all those things would be covered for 3 years. And so Edge would give you 2, we'd give you 3. So you'd have like 5 good years of coverage.
So it is consumer by like 3 years.
Yeah.
But then if I'm buying a 20-year, I do.
That would be a 1 year, yeah. So because it's new, we would give you a 3-year policy. For the run-of-the-mill house that's not going through a real estate transaction,
Well, then
it
it's
would,
going through real estate transaction.
oh, okay, so our 3 plans are, we have a $450, a $600, and a $700 policy. And then if it's a consumer policy, you add another $100, so like $800 for a consumer policy, but. Put both of our numbers in your phone, and honestly, like, you won't know what you don't know right now, but it's when you're with your buyer and maybe going through your inspection and just checking over stuff. Oh, looks like there's some maybe issues here. Give us a call. We want to help you and the buyer feel comfortable and confident that, well, oh, maybe these are the things that we should probably ask the seller to cover. Because we're kind of in that market where sellers are gonna do that. We don't cover pre-existing conditions, you know, we're not gonna cover things that, we're covering normal wear and tear. Those are not those.
Yeah,
Any other questions? I don't want to overdo this too much, but yeah, call us when you have a question.
So I would be virtually shopping first. We live through it, and it's like definitely, like we can live in it, but it's definitely like one we need to live. And so how does Steam close?
Yes.
Going to this, like, say, we're selling it like this.
Things that are, you know, broken, not working, and not good repair, those are not things that we.
So is that where you, in the transaction, have to focus on the seller concessions, covering those things like that?
Yeah, it sounds. And then, yeah, there's things that are unknown to you that don't know. If they're unknown to you and not unknown to the inspector and they're not inspection report, those would be things that. So. It's always good to just have like. in real estate, you know, Cameron probably talks about this, just having a list of go-to people. Your resources. Source of media collections. All of Utah. Contractor network is solid. Jump stuff. Data. Questions?
I want to underscore some things that Jason said. Definitely include this every time you do a buyer contract. Like that is my default. Like, I'm just gonna ask for a home warranty and there's like a whole bunch of check boxes. It's like the buyer's gonna choose, the buyer's gonna order it, the seller's gonna pay. And then how much is the seller gonna pay? And $700 for like the most tricked out plan, might as well just do that. Cause the seller's not even gonna blink. So that's completely normal. Now, if you're in a weird multiple offer situation, that would be the only time that you might not have a home warranty. And if you don't do that, you should like, look, we're stripping everything off of this. You'll notice we don't even have a home warranty. Like, you need to like sell the fact that you're not even asking for something and it's an extra $700 in their pocket. But a lot of sellers like it because as you go through the inspection and you hear things like, oh, this water heater is older than its life expectancy. It works, but it's old. Like that's the like ding, 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 you should have a home warranty because that might break. And so that's where you're like rolling the dice. And you're like breaking the first year, breaking the first year.
The roof's on here.
No. Okay, thanks so much for listening.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Any last QB you want for the road?
Wait, Jason, I wanna hear your answer to this. So I make everyone do an objection. So Jason, if you guys didn't know this, Jason and I used to work together. He was the director of marketing for the Red Sign team. And so like if you're ever like, let's talk real estate and marketing, he's also good at this. But okay, here's your question, Jason. You're talking to a seller and they say, I'm gonna try to sell it on my own first to save money. How do you respond?
I would probably say you're gonna do a terrible job on some rate. That's the reality. Because the market isn't what it was like 20 years ago. It's not like it was a year ago either. And there's a big difference between knowing how to price a home and how to sell it effectively, where you're not losing out. This is your greatest financial, most likely your greatest financial investment you've ever made. And if you get it wrong, you're gonna get it wrong back and maybe miss out on 10, 20, 50,000. So go with me, go with someone who knows, who has the resources and tools and experience to get it sold for the most money.
I like it. I like it. Thanks.
What was that?
I'm just, wait till you leave. I'll tell them the real answer. All right, what would you guys say?
I just need that answer, maybe to my daughter-in-law, go to your right. Right. My sister and brother, like my, not like a nurse, like we need to get everything better.
Yeah.
And, we bought this house 17 years ago before they were married, because they were getting married. And it is on a busy street and it's folded.
Mhm.
And all his life, his goal is we want to be debt free from this house. So Christy is like my sister. Right. I'm watching Christy. And the wife who does stay at home, everything, workplace. She has homeschooled them. They have one bathroom.
Oh, my goodness.
She did not have a dishwasher. And she has her little hair salon that they made in the bathroom. So she needs that. She makes like maybe $100,000 a year doing that, which is great.
Yeah.
But because he's lady that she doesn't give him, right? So she has her own thing. Anyway, when they were trying to sell, he turned around and refinanced the house under her. She had no idea. And so that was contention. Now, the neighbor, like, beyond there being a murder street, a drug raid across the street, a man pulling a girl up by her hair the street. He is still like, we are going to be debt free in this house. And she's like, no. So he leaves for Boy Scout, which is a volunteer thing. And the neighbor starts hitting on her and messages her 50 times in 2 hours. She's like, I am moving. And he's like, well, I'm not the cancer. She's like, great, I'm happy now. And so they are moving, but in his mind, he wants to sell his house on his own. He needs to do it. And I sent a referral for a girl that is a KW seller. And she has 22 years experience. And I told her about the story. Because he is so annoying. He makes you very, he reads every contract and he even makes the agents himself. And so from what I know, they had her call her back. They're coming here in 3 weeks. I'm like, you should have your house on the market so she can sell it. And you know, it's like a small place with 4 kids. But they want to do like peel and stick flooring to like spruce it up. And you're like, city might buy this house to put a roof there. Like, don't do that. Call an agent at this point. They're driving me crazy. This is everything. And I want them to go to a place where they will earn equity and be able to be the debt-free thing after the kids are out. But they're literally looking in the same neighborhood where the equity is going down. Because they
Stupid
I work there.
decision.
I like, don't call me. Anyway, sorry. It's frustrating.
Okay, so not this person, but a normal person that says that. How do you respond? I'm gonna try on my own first.
You're gonna say that first.
Well, no, that's what they say. I'm gonna try on my own first to save money. What do you say?
Open house for you to see how it goes.
It's an option.
And see what traction we get. You may be better. Than you. Or. You may. Other.
You got any ideas, Kate?
Yeah. Well, you can bring up some objections without being confrontational. Will they actually save money? Be on the market, what they actually want, you know, they have the negotiation skills. I don't yet, but I have a team.
Well, and so to be honest, if you have a for sale by owner. And you were a buyer, let's say you're not even an agent.
Mhm.
You see it's on the market for $500,000. Let's just assume that you've even been watching the market and it should be listed at $500,000. Like they got it right. And they're worth $500,000. When you go to see that house, how much would you be offering as a normal person? Would you offer $500,000?
He doesn't. He doesn't do coupons.
So most people would think, oh, this is a for sale by owner. We are cutting agents out. How much does an agent cost? 3%. They know that. So right off the bat, if you are priced right as a for sale by owner and you get someone with, I almost said with intelligence, but that almost makes it seem like your husband's not smart, but someone that knows a little bit about real estate and is willing to negotiate and use a coupon, that you would just offer 3% less because you're like, I don't have an agent, you don't have an agent. Like maybe we could even go 6% less because that's what it would cost if we just had an agent involved. And so you will make the same whether an agent sold it or not. Like that is a normal thing. So you guys want to hear my answer?
Yes.
It sounds like you're trying to make the most money, right? And they say, yep. I'm like, okay, I just wanted to make sure that you're not trying to save the most money, but you're actually trying to make the most money. Because that is actually my job, is to make sellers the very most amount of money. And usually they pay me and still make more money than when they say it on than when they sell it on their own. Because I am able to do things that the normal public cannot. For example, I can post your home on literally thousands, if not millions of websites that it's for sale. And there's no way that a normal person could go and do that. But I can. I'm going to spend some of my own money as well. So I'm going to get professional photography done. I'm going to have a sign out front that does not call, come and try to negotiate with me. It's going to call, this is a professional, come pay full price type of an idea. Because when I see a for sale by owner, I think I should negotiate with that. I need to try to take advantage of that. Plus, there's a whole bunch of positives to not being for sale by owner. You know, when you're a for sale by owner, there's real estate agents that call that list. Like they buy a list of for sale by owners to call. And they just call through it every single day. If you don't answer, they'll call you the next day. And there's probably hundreds of agents in Utah that do that. So could you imagine being a for sale by owner and just getting call after call? And they're probably all using the same script. Hey, I saw your home was on, or is your home still for sale? That's what they always ask. That's their first question. Hey, I'm a real estate agent. Is your home still for sale? If I were to bring one of my buyers, would you be willing to pay me a commission? Like those are like, uh, that's how they all start. 'Cause that's what they want to know. But really it's, do you want to save money or do you want to make the most amount of money? That's how you should phrase it, because I am here to make you money. If you want to just save money, then maybe go live in a ghetto area with a crappy house.
Say I'm trying to save money.
Yeah, yeah. So if I could make you more money than you could make selling it on your own, would you be okay hiring me? Now, the one problem with that is you need to live in this universe where we could watch what would happen if you sold the house and if I sold the house and see which actually did better. So there is this element of trust, but there's also this element of you don't have to do any of this work. Like, yeah, you need to get your house ready either way. You need to make it look nice. But when you're like, hey, should I do peel and stick flooring? You can have a real estate agent that would tell you no, because a buyer is going to see right through that and think you're trying to cover up something, and they're going to think your house is cheap. We actually did that in my laundry room just because we were sick of the flooring in there. And it looks just fine. But you can definitely tell. But it's like in my laundry room that's like teeny. And my wife's like, ah, it would just be fun. That way we don't have to actually do tile in there like we did everywhere else. But yeah, so you know you can have someone to ask questions to that's a professional to give you advice. You have me that's just going to run around. And then I like to also create doubt in people's minds. Like, oh, how do you know what to price it? And, which title company are you going to use? What if an unrepresented buyer comes and wants to buy your house? What if a represented buyer comes and wants to buy the house? Like, there's all of these things. Like, so could you sell it on your own? Probably. Maybe. In this market, I would doubt it. There's 13,000 houses for sale right now. We have not been that high. What did Dean say? Since like 2008, 2009. So like literally my entire career, 12 years, there has not been in this many homes for sale. So when there's too many things for sale, you definitely don't want to be the non-professional selling that. You want to have a professional. So just our state, 13,000 homes. Is that crazy? All right, let's mastermind. I wish there was more people. I guess nobody cared about this. Kate said she was out of town, or else she would have come, but would care to mastermind. specifically, I want to talk about experiment phones, but we can talk about TV. If you guys were to solve a problem in your business that would help you get more closings, what do you feel like you need help with?
Calling.
Tell me more.
Um, I hate calling.
Who are you calling?
Um, I hate the feeling of being salesy. Um,
Like,
Yeah.
I was thinking text you to make sure.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So like yesterday during, Rise with Courtney, she said, you know, she likes to be able to offer something, so she's inviting. That's me too. I can actually get through a phone call, right? But inviting you to something or to do something, that's for me. Uh, Anything, any interaction at all that sounds or has the appearance of being salesy. I hate and I get really anxious.
Yes. Let's talk about this for a minute. If. Ooh, how do I want to word this? I don't want to shoot myself in the foot with this next question. Would you settle for half the number of your potential closings that you could get? Like, let's say you could close 20 transactions a year if you made phone calls. If you never made phone calls and you could close 10 a year, would you do that?
Want to?
Like, knowing you could double your business, would you make those calls? And when I say those calls, it doesn't have to be salesy calls, it just has to be calls.
Yeah, yes, I would make those calls, and that's probably the main thing that I am working on is powering through to be comfortable in.
Kara, would you? If I told you you could never make a phone call, but you're only gonna close half of your potential. Would you make calls or not?
Yes.
You would make calls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, my serious time is actually.
Yep. Yep. I don't know if that's true, if you would close half the number of transactions if you don't call people. It was just had a curious thought. But then I was real worried that you're like, oh yeah, I closed 10 deals and never talked to a person, done.
Okay.
So there's two ways that we can go about this. Number one, we could talk about all of the things that you could do to amplify marketing to get more people with fewer phone calls. Not zero phone calls, but fewer. Or we could talk about how to make the phone calls less bad. Yeah. Which would you rather go?
Well, less daunting. I want to be able to make these phone calls. I
Okay.
feel it is important to connection,
Okay.
and it's just a personal goal to do.
Yes.
See him do.
You just listen to me make a whole bunch of phone calls one day. So I used to teach this class, it's called Build Your Database. And in the class, I told people to write down, like, I'm like, we're gonna practice building out your database, so today's letters for DTD2 or P&L or whatever. I'd be like, I want you to write down as many people that you know that their last name starts with P or L, and let's see how many you can get. And then put a check mark if you know their phone number, a check mark if you know their email, or a check mark if you know their address. And I brought this little like printout, and so people would write down names, and we'd have like a little competition. And then after they did that, I said, "Great, now you get to go call these people." And everyone would always be like, "What?" And so I'd let everyone get all their excuses out on why they're not okay calling these people. We kind of talk about it, and then we'd go let everyone call. And one time I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a call. And so I was like, should I make a call in front of the class? And everyone's like, yeah. And so I put it on speakerphone, called my friend Jason. And I was like, Jason, hey man, it's been a little minute. How have you been? What are you up to? And he's like, oh, things are okay. I'm like, oh, what do you mean? He's like, I just got fired yesterday.
David,
And I'm like, oh no. This just became an awkward phone call to be in front of a class of, there are like 15 people in the class. And I'm like, oh, you know. So I stopped making phone calls in front of people. Cause you never know. So okay, talk to me about people that you have made phone calls to that it felt good, both of you.
well,
Like if you were to look at your phone log on your phone app and see all these people that you've called recently, that like you called them, what made that happen or made it easy? Like who did you call?
the first was my son and get.
Okay, so you had a purpose?
With one girl, this girl Julia, her neighborhood, purpose is she wants to know. What all these other people.
Hmm.
And so we talked to her.
Okay, who else did you call?
Say this guy that I'm meeting in a few hours, I also had a purpose, but he was also, I knew he was interested in talking to me. My parents had started the conversation. He was with Farrell. So we knew a little bit about each other. Before that started.
On that setup.
Yeah.
It sets you up to have a conversation. Who else? Who else is in your phone?
And my old bishop's wife, she called to talk about things.
Wait, no, you have to call them. Outbound from you. And it's everyone.
I need. See. So this is the birthday party. Thanks.
I looked through my phone and see I called my sister the other day. Called my wife. Okay.
Siblings.
So do you have like a reason to call these siblings and parents and friends and things?
Sometimes.
Sometimes you have a purpose. If you don't have a purpose, but you call them, like,
I guess there is always a purpose and just to talk, catch up, that's the purpose.
yeah,
So.
I have one. Just get over.
a relationship. Updates?
We do Marco.
Oh, yeah, yeah, Marco almost counts for you. Cause that's like a phone call that lasts forever.
It does, and then it's so that you can do it without interruption, because there's a lot of kids.
I tried to do Marco Polo for a while with my wife. She's like, this would be perfect because then you can just answer me whenever you want. And I could not do it because her Marco Polos have like 3 questions and kids screaming in the background and a story involved and like not a whole lot. And then I get on and I like answer the 3 questions and then I'm done. Then she's like, well, give me more than that. I'm like, well, you gave me 3 questions. That was a lot. Like, imagine if you called me and just straight asked 3 questions. Or you text me 3 questions, like, what are you gonna get back? You're just gonna get back 3 answers as I'm scrambling to talk to you, so.
It works for some people.
I'm like, why can't Marco be more like real life, where it's like, I have a question and I ask you that question, like, hey, what are you doing right now? And then I just wait for an answer. And you were like, oh, this is what's going on in my life. What are you doing? And then I answer, like more like a phone call. It's not like that. So I can't do it. I got kicked out of Marco. For it. So, okay, you either have a purpose or set up to do it, or you're building the relationship. Does that sound accurate? So. How do you not be salesy? Did we solve the question yet?
Well,
Probably it's this generation doesn't talk.
yeah, I used to, but it's all the way. I've gotten used to not talking.
I think it's coming back.
Really?
I think we're early, but I think it's coming back because of AI. Because I think pretty soon, like, there's just gonna be a whole bunch of AI slop. It's gonna ruin, like, the realness of everything. Because like, if I write an email right now, 9 times out of 10, I gave the idea of the email to AI and it wrote it. Like, how quickly is that gonna seep into text messages and into everything? But then when you actually have a conversation, it's gonna be real, back and forth. Unless you can clone yourself with AI and have it have conversations.
Maybe. I just don't like it. We used to call it. And they would ask for you or someone else and you'd say.
Yeah.
Oh, I forget how weird that is, because everyone has their phone now. When people want me, they call me. When they want their wife, they call their wife.
It's like I call my precious house and answer.
Yeah.
So, who, how do I want to ask this? If you call someone, are they thinking, why is this person calling me? Is that a real thought?
Sometimes.
Probably.
They would try to catch on, because we have a lot.
Yeah.
So there's that. And we literally keep in touch like once a month. So.
So. That we need to give ourselves a purpose. I call this an excuse on why we're calling someone. One of my very my very favorite lies that I tell people is I'll drive down like on my way home and I will call people I haven't talked to in a while. And I'll be like, hey, are you on I-15? I'm like, oh no, I just got home. I'm like, oh, I swore I just drove past you. Just driving home from work and I thought I saw you in the lane next to me. So crazy. What are you up to? And it is like my excuse to call them. And it makes so much sense because some people think, why are you calling over texting me? And it's because I'm driving. So they already checked that off in their brain without me doing anything. Like, are you driving next to me? They're like, oh, he's driving. So they already know. It's so random, but the random matches. And so you almost have to give yourself an excuse. A purpose sounds like you have to like have a real purpose. But an excuse is just like, why is this happening? So I really like the just want to catch up kind of a thing. Or you can give them a real reason, right? I'm holding a class later this month about first-time home buyers. I didn't know if you'd be interested, but I thought of you, so I thought I'd give you a call, see if you wanted to come and see if you had any questions to cover. Do you even own a house or not? Like, those are the kind of things, like, I'm doing work, so I'm, like, this is a business call, like, that's why I'm on the phone. You can also call this the goal. Lots of times, as you get older, you don't know this yet, you're too young for this. Wait, how old are you, Kate?
26.
26. You're probably old enough for this, but like, the older you get, the more you feel like you don't have friends. But you have friends, but you don't like ever connect with them. Like, the best man at my wedding, we're still really good friends. I would like put him like right up there as probably one of my best friends. I maybe see him 4 times a year. Like, we talk, I don't know, 6 to 10 times a year. And we're really good friends. And that is bad. Like, if I were to tell my 11-year-old son, like, hey, you gotta talk to your best friend 10 times a year, and you're gonna see him like 4 to 6 times a year, he would think I'd be talking about a week and not a year.
Mhm.
And so it's like this normal thing to have aspirations to be a better friend. I want to have better relationships with people. That's why I'm calling you. Because I want to be a better friend. And we used to be great friends. Or I just want to make sure we keep staying good friends. That's why we're talking. Wait, Hayden, when you're in high school and middle school and stuff, do people call each other? Okay. Bring that back then. Because for us, it's easy. Like, remember when we were in high school, we used to like call and talk to each other?
We also texted, yeah.
See, when I was in college, my freshman year of college, I had 250 text messages I could send in a month.
Yes.
Like 250. Could you imagine that?
That's what happened is 50.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we had like unlimited nights and weekends.
Yep.
So we would like text and plan to talk to people after 9 o'clock, kind of a thing. And then we just talk for hours. Like, let's bring that back. Let's talk a whole bunch all the time. So you can have excuses. So let's imagine a world where you do this and you're successfully reaching out to people. You have a good enough excuse and people are receiving it really well. How does that turn into anything? Like, this almost sounds like a class on relationships and not real estate. So how do you go from, I want to be a better friend, to thanks for paying me for being your real estate agent?
As you build a relationship, the forward script is
Right.
really script.
Yeah,
Really don't have to think about it. But if you do think about it, bring those things up, that it will actually turn the subject to the application.
yeah,
Then they'll know that you're interested. Use it.
yeah. I think that's easiest. Kara, how do you turn random relationship calls into business?
They show. Just what? It's in the building, like, I know.
So I have this aunt that they've been wanting to buy a house for multiple years now, but either this year or next year is probably going to be the one that they finally don't get a house. A couple weeks ago, after we did the class, he shows the video of doing mass texting.
Uh-huh.
I went and I did that. And so everyone in my contact, well, 50%, because half of my texting actually send. So Miss Annis knows that I'm in real estate now. And, feel like any call or text I make now, she's going to feel like it's, hey, are you ready? Are you ready? But
You could do tongue in cheek. Then it feels comfortable. Like, actually, like, I'm giggling about it. And it's gonna be like, oh, I'm
true. Yeah. And says, continues this, you know, I've never been the greatest at staying connected with it. So making calls to better relationships that will be better. It's good.
Yeah. Let me tell you a story about the worst person that I've ever heard at all of these things that actually did them. His name was John. Uh, he was friends with Clay Winder. They like grew up together. He idolized Clay. It was like, I want to be cool like you one day, Clay. And so when he had the opportunity to get into real estate, he's like, let's do this. So his wife had a fairly decent job. They only had one kid. And so she could pay all of the bills. And he's like, I'm going to get into real estate. So he got his real estate license. And he said, Clay, what should I do and what should I say? Clay told him all of the Clay things to do and say. And he said, okay, I'm going to go do that. And he sat outside of my office and executed exactly what Clay said. The biggest problem, though, is he is nowhere near Clay. And so he would say things that Clay would say, but he just like wasn't good at it, you know? It's like it gave me the concept of like, you know, like the difference between like flirting and being creepy, how it's just like this fine line. It's like if the wrong person says it the wrong way, you're like, yeah, I need a restraining order. And if the right person says it in the right way, you're like, am I cheating on my spouse? Like, so he was definitely more on that creeper side of the equation because he was trying to be Clay when he wasn't Clay. And he called, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 people every single day. And he closed one transaction in 8 months. And this is when the market was, I want to call it easier. It was just a different kind of market. There were more people buying and selling, but you made less money. So, pros and cons. What I think he needed to do is he needed to be himself and figure out like the reason he would call, the how he would say it, the what he would say, and so that it all was natural and weird. Because he would get on the phone and you would realize very quickly he ran out of things to say. Because he would like go through Clay's script and then be like, crap. And so on the Red Sign team, we always wanted to give people an excuse to call. And so we had probably 6 or 8 events over the year. So if you spread that out, it's basically every other month there's an event. And so he would be like, hey, in a couple of months, we have an event coming up. And so I'll reach back out to you then. And it's like, you don't need to be talking about an event yet. Like it's 2 months away. Like no one's excited to like go to a pumpkin patch when it's July, kind of an idea. So it was awkward. He never was him. And so he washed out. So it's like, how do you be you and connect with all of these people? That's the hard part. Because the way that I always think of things is like, if this is your personality, and this is the system that everyone says that you should run, it's where you do the model and the system, but you do it in your way. And that is the challenge. Because like Cody Felberg, he definitely lives this. when you're like, you just need to talk to as many people as you humanly can. In my mind, I think, well, I'm gonna organize that, and I'm gonna systematically call people, and I'm gonna have an excuse and a reason, and I can reach out to a whole bunch of people and talk to them, and that's not hard for me. Some people, it's not easy for me either, but he's just like, when I get in my car, I'm just gonna call whoever I think about. That's his system. So like he's living a little sliver of it. Could he probably do better if he was a little more purposeful around it? Like probably. But you know what? He's like number 3 agent in our office right now or something, so pretty sure he's doing okay. So, how are you gonna take all of this rumblings, all of this conversation that we've had and do anything with it? What changes in your life, in your execution?
For me, when I say Adam, describe it, I don't like to take it because I feel like I get way too much done. It's not a thing. But it, I think it's pretty interesting to take out. And I respect. And. It's kind of all stuff, see. what's
I don't even know what I would be like on Adderall
what's the credence.
because I have zero problem focusing. So like when I'm like, oh, I need to get this presentation done, and I'm like, I'm not excited about this presentation. Like, that's okay. And then I sit down and just like bust out the presentation. Like I couldn't even imagine if I had like a substance helping me focus on things. Like I would just run out of stuff.
To do your presentation.
Oh, I do that anyway.
You just.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like my computer's too dirty and I do that. And I'm like, I don't like anything on my desk. I take all of the desk. Side note, one of the strangest things that I thought, have you guys seen the movie Limitless with Bradley
Yeah.
Cooper? I always thought it was the most interesting thing. So he takes this pill that makes him know everything and
90% of his brain.
yeah. And you know what the first thing he did? He cleaned his apartment. It's like you can access your knowledge and everything that you have in your world. What are you gonna do first? I'm gonna clean my apartment.
The things that are in your face. Like you, it's like putting things away or they all the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, side note. Kate, what are you doing?
Absolutely nothing.
What changes?
Well, I like to, I'm kind of like you in a way. I like a system. I like looking at numbers. If it's you find numbers, I like doing something else. But sometimes I get frozen up on creating the system. But it's just making that momentum. So creating that system, understanding. I have it written like 5 different documents.
So
I'm what I'm doing. thing. But this you can want to understand rather go clear understanding.
can I give you another system that an agent at our office, he's not at our office anymore, but he used to run. He had a spreadsheet of everyone in his database. And he would print it out and put it in a binder. And each one had a number next to it. And so at the very beginning of the quarter, he would flip to the very end of the book. And he would see how many people there were. He would look at his calendar and see how many days he was going to work. And then he would divide those numbers to figure out how many people he needed to call each day. And then he would start at the top of the list. And as soon as he called them, he would cross them out. And every single day he would wander the office and do like laps just on the phone. But he was one of those guys, he didn't wear headphones, he would talk on speakerphone like this. And it drove me nuts. I'm like, put headphones in, guy. Anyway, his conversation was the same. Hey, it's your realtor buddy, Aaron, just reaching out to you. And then he would talk about anything else. But that's how he would always start his conversation with him. With every single person. It's your real estate agent buddy or your realtor buddy. Real estate friend, Aaron, how's life, man? What are you up to nowadays? And then he wouldn't even talk about real estate. But he like called himself a real estate agent, so everyone, so it was already like boom there,
Yeah.
like I mentioned it. I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. And then he would just go through his list, all the way down to the bottom. And then at the end of the quarter, he would do it all again, and that was his system, and it worked really well. When we did like events like Splash Summit, everyone usually goes crazy and calls everyone right before Splash Summit. He would still call the same number of people every single day. And he would do all of the other marketing. So he'd send an email, he'd send a text message, he'd send mailers, whatever else. That's how he invited people. But he would always just have a quick little call. Hey, it's your realtor buddy. If he would have been a good person, he probably would have crushed it. But he's kind of a jerk. Yeah. So.
This thing. A lot of YouTubes that I watched. It's getting hung up on it.
That's, I think that was one of the things we did today was. Go. Fires on scripts. And.
It's not intimidating.
Yeah, the thing that I hate the most about phone calls is the first 10 seconds. Like, I feel like it's always awkward. And then as soon as I get over that 10 seconds, it's just so nice. Or they hang up. And you're like, well, that didn't work. But even like when I hire people and I'm like doing like an initial phone call to see like, hey, are you a weirdo? Like, do I even want to talk to you? I'll call through people to see if they're real. Surprising how many people don't ever answer and never call back with interviews. Like crazy. Like I will get like 20 resumes, I'll call them all, and then I'll maybe talk to 10 or 15 people. I'm like, what happened to the other 5 or 10? They didn't call me back, they didn't ever answer, like nothing. Just straight ghosted. But so anyway, I constantly have these weird, awkward conversations for the first like 5 or 10 seconds, and then it just gets normal. So, a whole other thing that you can do, and we do this every once in a while. I try to do it on the 5th Thursday. That's how I have it set up in my mind. Is we do a lead generation competition. And so it is, you get points for calling, points for conversations, points for appointments and referrals and things like that. There is a script where you just have a competition with yourself. You can make it real and actually have a competition with someone else. But you call and you're like, oh, thank goodness you answered. I am in a competition right now with my coworkers. We're trying to whatever. Get the most referrals, set the most appointments, find the most people looking to buy or sell, set the most people up to receive an email of houses, like whatever the competition is. But it's like, and then you end like, hey, could you help me out? Who else do you know that I should talk to? Like I need to have as many of these so I win. And then people love to help. So figure out a you version of this. And then yeah, I like that. Like Kira said, try some expireds, try some randoms. See how it goes.
Yes.
There's some people that are just they love talking to randoms.
Who do I talk to get these list of expired numbers?
So for sale by owners, you can actually just find those. because they're trying to sell it. So go to Zillow, go to Facebook or whatever,
They're-
and just go do that. With expired, it's a little harder because you can find the listing on the MLS, but then you have to find the seller and their phone number. So there's services that you can like manually look them up, like Skip Trace is what that's called. If you just Google Skip Trace, or you can pay for a service that just already gets the list, scrubs it against the do not call, and prints it out for you. And my favorite one for that is called RedX. Yeah, REDX. Yeah,
I looked into stuff.
yeah. I can't remember how much it costs. It's a couple $100. So if you're gonna do it, like you got to commit to it and get your money's worth. But it for sale by owners and and expired listings are the secret that new agents don't want to do. They're difficult, so you have to usually like have a good presentation ready, and you have to have some sort of a script ready. That being said, you can make phone calls before you're 100% ready, because if you end up calling them again, they don't remember you. Because multiple real estate agents will call them. So if you call them today and you mess up on your script, you can call back in 2 weeks and you're probably gonna be way better. And then you have time to like practice and presentation and everything like that. So it'd be like, make like an hour of calls a day and then practice your presentation, get that all dialed in. If you happen to set an appointment in your first hour of ever making calls, just set it for like 2 days from now and then go into practice mode a little bit more. But the reason that FSBOs and expireds are like the secret sauce is because they already want to sell. Because if I call anyone in my sphere, the chances that they want to sell, I don't know, 1 in 20, 1 in 30, 1 in 50, like it's rolling the dice there. And I will just have to go through and talk to enough of them. If you are calling for sale by owners or expires, they all want to sell. They were just on the market or are currently on the market. And so it's just you need to convert them. You need to be the one that they choose. So if you're looking for like quick business, for sale by owners or expireds are the way to go. But they're not easy. Otherwise, everyone would do them, but then because everyone would do them, it'd be hard again. So
Yeah.
by their nature, they're not easy. But they're the quickest way to business.
Yes.
So if you're like, how do I find schools in Paris?
An expired listing. It's another agent or.
Highly.
Yeah.
Yes, John actually partnered with her because he just went to the referral brokerage. So Kylie's gonna send him a referral fee. Our Keller Williams referral brokerage. Yeah, yeah, so it's like Dean's still the broker. But you're not part of the MLS, you're not part of UCAR, and you don't have any like fees. So you can't show houses, you can't sell houses, but you can collect income, like commission income, so.
You being